on? What's up, guys? Studfit here for episode 59 of Kart Talk. I'm joined by a number of good friends, some new, some old, and some that you get to hear their experiences for tonight. Obviously, this is a monumental episode in that we have two top 10 players from last tour joining us. We have Crazy and Avi. That's literally 20% of the top 10 from last tour. How crazy is that? Literally, in this case. So welcome to Crazy and Avi. This has been like your fourth and I think respectively sixth or seventh episode. Happy to have you both on. How are you guys doing? Are you guys still alive?
I'm so excited. Doing well. You know, last tour was a blur with all the tracks I've been putting in my sheet and working hard, but now that's over and I'm so excited to, share my experience and with the game and just that tour in general. So huge appreciation, for Studfit having me on and can't wait to get into this.
Awesome. You, Avi?
Being alive part it's a good question. Yeah. Contrary to, or I guess different to Crazies, my top 10 was not planned at all. So I commend him from preparing because his experience was just radically different than mine. But I'll let him expand on that because he had a whole production set up, which I appreciated so much. But yeah, I'm happy that first one is out of the bag and then we can continue. Yeah.
Well, they say you can either plan. Wait, hold on. You can either if you don't plan to hold on. Can't get
Three in the bird, two in the.
You don't plan to. You can't plan to fail. But anyway, you get the point. Honestly, Avi, you did a good job. In the fact that you never even planned, but you know what you overcame. And like I said, you pushed through. You did a phenomenal job, and we're excited to hear just as equally to hear your experience. And it's probably even more epic. Probably even like you had to like grind that much more to just get over that big hump. As compared to Crazy, not that he cruised in, but he knew this was
Crazy's rounds were crazy. Like they were like so carefully done. I was watching the rounds before I decided to join at any point because like there's just so much to how this came to be. But it was one at GSG we were all together because Crazy's run for top 10 had been planned, announced, broadcasted to all of us. So we were there for him and what was happening, right? So enjoying that from his own side, and I'll let him talk about it as being the actual protagonist of this. But I gotta say, I had the experience of not only seeing the runs, but also seeing his sheet and seeing how his progress was going and challenging himself with loadouts that were not traditional, which was also a thing that he put on himself. And man, like I'm in honest admiration for one, his skill, and two, just commitment to self-imposed challenges. So, congratulations for your run. I really enjoyed it and admire you. So thank you for giving us that. And I'll let you go and talk about your own experiences. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm talking about you.
Hey, and I admire what you did. I mean, you went in kind of like, not last minute, but you cut your time up in the tour in half. You went in with a week only and you still killed it, You got, I think, close to 100%. And especially with all those like powerful loadouts and those last minute upgrades, it was a pleasure, grinding alongside you in the calls as well. So that was a ton of fun.
I think we have maybe I should introduce you guys as the number one fan of the Crazy fan club and the number one fan of the Avi fan club are both with us because it seems like you guys absolutely respect and appreciate you guys. I found it out. Benjamin Franklin said, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. And you know what? I know. I butchered it the first time. I got it right though. Roast vacation, just like Avi did. Avi roast vacation and overcame the fail like I did on my intro. And with that being said, we're going to continue introing people. In fact, many of you have already heard of Alberto. I mentioned him a few times throughout the year, but literally about a year ago, we had someone who I was paying to bring us the slides, said, you know, with the time schedule and like everything didn't work out. And so we put out a request. You guys might have remembered that probably around, probably about like maybe 14 months ago or so. And there was one man who rose vacation. That was Alberto. And he helped this channel go an extra year. I probably wouldn't have been able to keep this up for another 2 or 3 months without Alberto, let alone a full year. So many of you heard Alberto's name. He was once on the Kart Talk podcast. So happy to have him back again. And I'd love to hear from his experience later on in the podcast. But welcome again, Alberto. This is your second time, I think, coming on. I don't think you've been on another 2 times. But like, what's the experience like the second time, and how are you feeling about the game right now in this moment?
Hi, thank you for bringing me, it's a pleasure. I think it was almost a year ago when you posted the advertisement, and that's when I reached out to you. Yeah, this is my second time, and it's been a little. I've been busy lately, so I haven't been able to play the game much as I used to. So I just barely play to win ranked. So yeah.
Well, good, man. Glad to have you on, and looking forward to hearing a little bit more about your story and how the last 12 months have gone, as I probably put you through hell and back. But we do have one last introduction. I always liked that. One of my favorite parts about Kart Talk since I started it 58 episodes ago, it was always trying to include a new person, some new face, someone from the community that no one's ever met. And what better else than Connor, who's going to play, aka Toad, is going to play Mario Kart theme, Mario theme. Nailed it. Nailed it.
Thank you, guys.
So welcome, Toad.
They're plugged in.
Since you're our new guest, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in Mario Kart Tour? What your favorite part is about the game, and if you have any like predating like Mario Kart original experience, let us know.
I mean, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I love this community. I love this game. If you had told me 5 years ago that I would be playing a video game, talking about it, B, watching a YouTube show about said video game, I would have probably made fun of you a little bit. I admit I would have been like, really? See, appearing on said video game YouTube, I would have been against it. And here we are. This game has brought me so much joy and peace, and I think it's we could go on about that. I think it's a very therapeutic and I think the gameplay is immaculate. I think it's really well built, and it's been a whole journey that's brought all of these people together, that whether you're at the top level or just learning, it's still the same 2-minute little thing and the same little theme song, and it's great. I don't know. I don't even know where to start other than buying Legend of Zelda.
When did you start playing the game? We'll start there. Did someone introduce you to the game?
So I was trying to think about why I downloaded it, because I downloaded it about when it came out. The second, not the first tour, but I think the second tour. And I don't know why. I'm going to credit my little brother, Colin, thank you, who flew me to Japan. He was working with Vice at the time, cameraman, and they'd been to Tokyo 3 times, and like the crew just played a ton of Mario Kart. I spent more money on Mario Kart in Tokyo in arcades with some side bets for than I have spent as a gold pass only with a few packs. Mario Kart.
You said you like low key, like they would actually bet each other playing Mario Kart in the arcade.
You make wagers on the game, you buy everyone a round of drinks, like we played some serious Mario, and the experience there is if I ever win the lottery, I'm getting the Japanese Mario Kart machines. It's amazing, and that was my first me experience, because they take your picture and you race as you, and I thought that was great. Then the me thing, when it came into Mario Kart Tour, I was like,
you're not me. Okay.
I'm embracing. Listen, I understand. I wish I embraced both. The original. We can get into all that, but
I'm sure we'll have a me check at some point, because it does seem that the me
never leaves this show.
Never
get over.
Is it a Kart Talk?
It was just kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It was just kind of creepy, but like I loved it when I was in Japan. Anyway, and I found the game, and I didn't know what I was doing. Like for months, I didn't know how to rate combos, points. It did like what is a coin box? I had no clue. And then I think when COVID happened, like I was on Reddit more. I saw people who I was like, oh, let me learn how to drift. We could the importance of drifting really well in this game, and it's such a crucial part of this game. And microseconds of your actions, which is why multiplayer doesn't work.
Unless you have an iPad and you have a nice little stencil like our friend Avi. Avi's, I think Quakers, you use an iPad too, don't you?
I do use an iPad mini, although I don't use the pen to drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I use my thumb. I know there's a debate between thumb and index finger, but I like the thumb.
So you flip? I never asked this. You flip between index and thumb?
No. I only use my thumb, but I've heard people, like I know Sammy likes to use his index finger.
Yes.
I know one of the best players in the game. I know Danny likes to use his index finger.
Does he really? I didn't know that.
I was shocked to find that out, but apparently they say it has more control, but I think the game was designed for the thumb, so that's how I like to play it.
If I can
Go for it.
If I'm saying like why multiplayer has never really worked, and I think one of the problems Nintendo has with the game is that it disconnects. Even just those slight little seconds that if you're trying to have players from all over the globe, it doesn't quite. You're not in the same room. It's not the same experience as playing with your friends in the basement.
It never will be.
I mean, that's the thing. You also have to think about it. Like, it is kind of a tall order to think about. You have people across the nation shooting at shells at the same exact second, and like who threw it first, who's holding the item. Like, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a tough,
absolute chaos.
It's kind of crazy to think that that Nintendo is trying to navigate all these items going back and forth. But yeah, I mean, I will say, for what it's worth, you could also be seeing the same room and just like chaos is happening. Like, I shot you. I mean, I don't know if you saw this. This past summer, I was in Nashville with Sammy. We did a reaction. We played each other multiplayer, and on my screen, I was holding an item, and I like cornered it and went into the first line. I finished in first place. On his screen, I wasn't holding anything, and he hit me and bounced off me, and he finished first. And then
reality,
like we were literally in the same room, so it doesn't matter where you are. Like, this game, multiplayer has always been broken, but it's okay. We still love the game; it's still fun. It is what it is. Good. So let's take a couple steps back, because you guys have already alluded about the top 10. I without further ado, I don't want to get any further, because I think there's a lot to talk about tonight. I mean, we obviously still have Gold Mario roaming around somewhere, still soaking up some attention. We have then the next layer of the rundown, which has been focusing in on this year 5. There's still a lot to talk about, but I do not want to move into just the casual conversation without talking about this flipping top 10 performance from both of you guys. Absolutely insane. This is the first time you guys have ever gone for top 10. You guys both not only got it, but you crushed it. I want to hear from you guys, just 5 to 10 minutes, each of you guys, like what the experience was like, what you learned about yourself, what you learned about the game. So we'll start, actually, ladies first. We'll start with you, Avi. What was your top 10 experience like? What were the different band of emotions? Crazy mentioned you kind of got even a late start to it. Why don't you start there?
Yeah, so I guess if you're in the community, you might have heard through the grapevine that there was a little bit of people swapping accounts.
Let's talk about little bits, like what actually happened
Permanently. So what happened was it all actually started because Stanley retired. And
but by the way, Stanley still goes down in my like whenever I stop playing the game, like Stanley and his top 10 experience, he just literally just saved tickets because he liked saving tickets. And then the community's like, by the way, level 8 just got released, you should go for it. He's like, I don't really feel like going for it. And we're like, you have to go for it. He's like, well, fine, I'm gonna go for it then. Went for it, got it, and then saving the rest of his career. I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. And then so he finally he's been on, I think, twice. He finally retired. Then what happened?
So it was legit because we're constantly on VC. Someone alerted Shadow Legend that Stanley was retiring and hoping to pass on his account to someone that was going to invest in the account solidly. And we were Shadow is like in the middle of coming back home. He was in Brisbane yet. So a lot of coordinating for them to finally have the account. And so it began the conversation of like, what are you going to do with your account? Where he was himself preparing for his second actually actionable top 10 because he had a failed top 10 over the spring. And so, and myself, I was also preparing with mine. Like I had been saving tickets for Space Tour or Winter Tour, or even Holiday. I hadn't really zeroed in which one I was going to do it, but I was kind of already there. Like I had enough to upgrade the things that needed to be upgraded with my account. But Shadow's account had at least 3 months of development more than me, in things that it would have meant probably the same result, only that I would have had to grind a little bit more because I needed to make do for maybe caps that I didn't have on my own account or something like that. And Kareem, Shadow, and I sat and analyzed both accounts because I was really on the fence about doing a swap because I developed my account in a very particular way. I had size of carts and pilots and gliders that suited not only my skill set, but I felt comfortable that actually play better for the iPad. That it was like a very particular development for my account. And it turns out that gliders wise, we were very similar. So it wouldn't have been an upgrade for me. Kart wise, it was actually a downgrade for me. Because his carts were smaller, because he had stopped investing in the account for almost 3 months, where I had invested in the Black Mark II. I had the Black shielded already up. I had so there were several that were big, and he had invested for top 10s with elements that I didn't particularly like. Where
Fairy Daisy.
Fairy Daisy. I mean, it was
Fairy Daisy bag.
It was like the Pink Speeder was one where I was like,
Oh, come on.
I can't. This
mean.
is so small. Like it's just very small and hard to
funny.
handle
Oh my
for
God.
me.
At least you did not have to invest in the green one. That one's even worse.
Well,
Hmm.
but we'll come back. We'll come back to this because it's part of. And he had Kamek instead of Meowser for Twilight House. He had invested in Gold Luigi. He had invested in King Mario. He had invested in Fussy Kite. He had like so many Black Steel, Black Starshoot. You name it. But on the other hand,
First world
he
problem.
already had. Yeah, he already had PD up, PD Me. He already had Larry Me up. I had better things, like my Yellow Me was already done, like, and these were still work in progress for him. It was a working balance here and there. The important part though, it was that because he had been saving for another top 10, there was a wealth of tickets that I could use to balance that out. Where, you know, I would for sure I would never have the same account that I was developing with mine. I would have to like learn how to, you know, either kill these darlings that he had or just like actually just embrace them. But at the time when I did that swap, it wasn't because, oh, let's do it right now so that I can go top 10 for the store. It was like there was absolutely no desire to do that. Other than the fact that he hadn't really been grinding when we swapped it. And when I started grinding, I found myself very high. Where
like
like on the ACR sheet.
Oh,
on the
okay.
ACR.
Got it.
My God.
We warned you about this.
That's the other, like, this square over here. So I started doing all the things. In the Loadout that I hadn't invested on anything other than Luigi Knight and Fussy Kite. And like, what if we did some investments? What if we did this right now? Because then I found myself in like in the real world with my boss telling me that January would probably be really busy for us with the strikes ending.
Ooh, that's right.
And that meant that I wouldn't have time to go to Space Tour or Winter. And I did not want to, I'm not convinced that I even right now would like to go for Holiday Tour because Draco's going to go for it. And so Karim and I literally Tuesday night sat and did a breakdown of the account again and looked at the things that I would have to invest on and whether I liked them, because that was the other thing. I didn't want to kill the account by doing investments that I wasn't going to use later on that was not going to ensure coverage. And I ended up with like things like the Purple Dozer, which, by the way, it reminded me of you. I really love that card. I had to max out the Streetle, which honestly,
What?
a lot of people would like honestly die because of that. I actually enjoy the Streetles.
Wait,
which
you
is
just got
funny
done complaining for like 10 minutes about all the small carts.
So you like
Because-
you don't like the comets, but
because I don't
whatever,
like
whatever
the
those
pink,
are, but the
the
speeders,
pink-
but you like the.
The thing is that the pink speeder, it's a little rectangle, right? A little long rectangle.
Sure.
The actual Streetle, it's more rounded. The back of the cart is bigger, and it handles differently with the iPad.
Some of them actually do. They handle.
They handle differently, and with the pen, because I had already played. One of the cards that I had been working on was a rainbow.
What is it? What does it do? What does it do that like?
It handles differently because
All right.
the way that the back of the card tilts with the pen, it's more like it's softer. It's not like kind of like jerky
that.
and whatnot. The speeder, it's and this came whenever I started grinding, and I'm done at playing 3RT, which by the way is just a nightmare of a track. It did not allow you to pick up enough coins. You were constantly battling the angles, and at the end of the day, it was just great coverage. Cool. It might be great for Giant Banana. It might be great for Lucky 7. It might be great for a Boomerang. But when it comes to things, when you're using it with a coin army or a coin boxer, it's just not good. And whatever. I had to live with it. I'm gonna have to live with it. And at the beginning, whenever let's do this. We're gonna do it. It was kind of a little bit. One, I had a bit of, I wouldn't say guilt, but it was like hesitant to do it because I knew that I hadn't planned for it thoroughly. And then two, I felt like even though, it's never going to be that scenario, especially not anymore that the game is on a loop, that there's only just a few going for top 10. I felt like Crazy was going for top 10, and I was gonna jump into this thing when it's his time. I was not feeling very good about that.
Well, there's 10 spots for a reason. I mean,
I know, but it was like
I thought Crazy was just gonna get all 10. I just thought like
she was all 10 on my alt accounts, Just
I know, but also is that you had a whole event planned about it, and I was just like, I didn't want to come in with like, one, I swapped the account. Two, I decided last minute I was going to top 10. Three, I'm just gonna go insane and not sleep for 6 days and just be on this call that never ended for 6 days, because that's pretty much how it felt like. But it was crazy.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
Because because it was. I needed, even if there was some grinding done in the account, I'd have to redo it because I did so many investments that the races that were there meant nothing. It's as if I hadn't done anything. And then two, what was looking kind of like a chill tour for top 10, then in the last 2 days, it just became insanity. Like everyone all of a sudden was going for it. And sleepers were coming out of woodwork, and people that were freaking out because, I don't know, they also had things on their lives that they couldn't do it any other time were trying. And so it was very tense. I would say for a big defendant of certain skills, the one thing that last tour and this tour is sort of letting me down is Giant Banana. I did a very, I know you're gonna laugh. But I did a very big investment in Donkey Kong Me, and obviously Yellow Me was there and Morton was there. And honestly, the hardest races were with Giant Banana. It was insane. RNG was not there. The bananas were not hitting anyone. It was insane, but also it was on my account and it was on Kareem's account. But Porsche would be doing his races right next to us, and he was getting all of the perfect RNG. And we were like, what is happening? Like, why is this? What the hell is happening?
This triple boombox out of
out of nowhere, just chill. I was like, I can't. You need to leave the call right now. I can't deal with you. But yeah, I think for the first one, it proved to me that I can be a quick grinder, and it certainly helped that I helped the guys manage their time before so that I could also police myself. And obviously Kareem, Shadow, and even Gracie and Woodmoo being there to keep me awake. But yeah, next time let's not do this again. Like, let's just chill and plan it out day by day, have the time to revisit tracks, because at the end of the day I was missing something like 70K that I could have gotten had I had 3 more days.
Boy.
Yeah.
So will you do it again?
I definitely will. This tour, actually, if I had a couple more tickets here and there, I could have gone for top 10. I'm actually pretty high right now, but I'm probably gonna end up in top 20. But now I'm looking at what the investments that I did, what tour works. Because now the scope kind of like shifts. Like the Purple Dozer and some other things continue to be good for holiday tour or for New Year's tour or for space tour. Now it becomes a thing of like, okay, let's see who's going. Because also the longer that you go, the harder that it gets, because people are going to be going with 8 quads everywhere. And so yeah, it needs to be next time. It's planned. Next time, it's like I have to replenish my Atom tickets. I have to, do certain things that have to be there. But I don't need to XP grind anymore. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. It's not some of those cars that like people think of it like kind of like the tropical truck, which by the way, also one of my favorite parts. But for the iPad with the pen, that size of cart and that grip of the cart on terrain, it's very comfortable.
It looks cool too. I mean, I love like the purple and all that. It's nice, like, not to use a super ugly cart when you're racing. Like some of these carts they wanted me to invest into. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I'd rather just put a blindfold on at that point or go grayscale.
Yeah.
But that's a cool looking one, at least.
I would say from things that gave me grief, at the beginning, I was begrudging the fact that Shadow had invested on the Soomboom.
Oh no!
And I was like, there were
Shadow certified investment
that I actually
it just got up and left.
Yeah, it's like, no, I can't feel it.
That's why he gave you the account. He's like, I don't want you could have my problem.
Walking away. But and it was like, it was 2 giant bananas, or no, 1 giant banana track where it was interfering with how the bananas were landing because they were too packed into a single line. And
these are like the micro strats that are so interesting to think about, like the way like the cart like turns, or the way like you drop the bananas based on the cart. I think these are things we often overlook in the game, but I'm curious how much or how little they hold any truth. So
and we talked a lot about giant bananas, and like they do. It's a different like mindset when you're going in. Couple things we talk about the different strats about like using the item ticket right away, which as you're grinding, like time is of the essence. Just like to restart the app every time you do that, that's a lot too. But I always have said this, like I think giant banana is one of the easiest ways to get like 95% on the sheet, but to get like 100, giant banana is the hardest, or to get like 98 or anything above 95 is like giant banana is the hardest. Was that kind of what you're talking about?
That we weren't even getting 91.
That's
how bad it was, because we kept getting giant banana and then little banana, and when that happens, then it cancels out the first frenzy because there's just so many bananas that can be in the track, and so they were respawn. And then you would get a really good first giant banana, great hits, nothing after, or a green shell, or a super horn that would destroy the bananas. Like it was that hell of
I could go over all the issues I have with Giant Banana, but I'd probably be public enemy number one just because of how well liked the skill typically is. But let me tell you, it was intentional that I only had to use Giant Banana 2 courses the whole tour. And those 2 courses, I'm pretty sure Giant Banana was the best option. It was that Donut Plains 3RT. It was the best option there. So that was intentional because I'm not a huge fan of the skill.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to rename Avi. We're gonna have to rename you Gwen Stefani. That stuff was bananas.
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 But I'd let Crazy carry on with his own experience because I feel like we kind of like intertwine into it, and he has a lot more interesting races.
How was the yin to the yang on the other side of the top 10? They're Crazy.
Yeah, I can get right into this. So I'll give a very, very like quick backstory. I had to post a YouTube video on this and I explained a lot of that, but it's a little quick preface. My account is not like a top 10 account. Well, now it has the badge, but it's not like, it doesn't typically have the loadouts. So I knew for a while, I thought it was impossible, but I saw, shout out to my friend Ivan, who last year's battle tour, 2022, I think his account was pretty similar to mine, where it was like, it was gold pass, maybe with a little bit extra. But he had saved up some tickets and then like went all out and got his badge. And that was kind of like the first instance of seeing a player closer to my caliber achieve something like the top 10 in this game. And that kind of like rung a little bell in my head. I'm like, okay, so it actually is possible. It's not just like some foreign land I can never access. But the problem is it required 2 things that are very difficult in this game. It required a stash of like almost 100 of each ticket. I forgot exactly how much he had, but I needed like 80s to 90s of each. And a lot of my other friends who've gone for it, and I can go in that later, but they needed a substantial amount of tickets. And I know Studfit, you're like this too, but I typically invest in just the week to week. So saving any more than like 10 plus or 20 plus of each ticket was a big ordeal for me. But I knew if I ever I love setting goals in this game because I think that's like how you keep it interesting for yourself. And after getting top 100 so many times, I felt that was the next thing, but it felt so distant,
Yeah.
But I knew, that saving tickets was the only way there. And the other big thing is you need to go over 100%. I believe Ivan also did that. And it's kind of, if you're like a player like me who, your account it's good, you've been playing for a while, but you don't spend that top dollar on it, you can't get in with like 96, 97, 98%. You need over 100. So those are 2 challenging things, but I think it was around the start of 2023. And I remember being in a call with Shadow. And I remember, I think one of us was playing Baby Park. I don't know which one it was. It doesn't matter, but that's part of the memory. We were discussing like the potential. This is the first, I think it was that New Year's. We were discussing like the possibility of me saving up and going for it in Halloween. And what's kind of interesting is this was before, no new content was even like a possibility. The game was full force. We were getting new tour after new tour with new tracks, all that. And I was very optimistic of like what we would get. I thought maybe we'll get a new track, a new badge and all that. And I'm like, this sounds really intriguing, but I still don't have the discipline to save tickets. So I was still spending week to week. And I think it was around March or so, that's when I started taking ticket saving seriously. And what's cool, I actually saw another, like, it was around April this time now, it was the Yoshi tour. A couple of my good friends, Tyler and Wootmoo, they both went for that tour. And again, they're players similar to me, where they're not like, they don't have maxed accounts, but they saved up tickets for a crazy long amount of time. And then they went all in. They got over 100%, and they got their first and third place respectively to Wootmoo and Tyler. So that was more proof that like it's possible. I can do it one day. And then the summer went on. I'm starting to save tickets. And the most painful part is I'm saving tickets through like the peak of the game. Well, not really the peak, but like we're getting new content left and right. Like I'm seeing this Poochie come out, Donkey Kong Gladiator, all these new items. And I'm just like, I want to invest into these so badly. And it is kind of a shame that I've started by saving during that last period where we had new content, because we'll never have that again. But it was necessary for my goal. And months go to pass, then Shadow gets his first top 10, and I think the Princess Tour because he loves princesses, and then my friend Luca,
yeah.
he
SG.
oh yeah, he actually went. He was saving up tickets for an even longer amount of time. I think he had like 120 of each. Just madness. I can't even fathom getting that high. And then he's a huge fan of Gold Mario. And of course, Anniversary comes out, no new content's announced, and it makes complete sense for him to go all in. And he did. He got his top 10. And that was kind of the last moment of like I've seen a bunch of my friends, they're getting their top 10s. And I'm like, all right, my turn's on. I'm finally nearing like 95 driver tickets, like 75, 80 kart and glider tickets. And I'm just like, how do I even have this stash this big? That's incredible. I did have to purchase the premium challenges every single tour while I was saving. That was a necessity.
Yeah.
But that if not without that, my stash would be completely insufficient. But I finally my tour was here. Battle tour was kind of like a little like lull. You know, nobody really did anything. We would kind of just calm before the storm for me at least. And then the Halloween tour arrived. Although I have some issues with this tour because again, I said this earlier. No. This tour, but last tour, again, I said we were hoping for no new content, or no, we were hoping for new content,
right?
And then we found out there was no new content. That's a huge bummer. If you would have liked, because I saw all my friends, they got it during their top 10s back when they had a new character, usually a new badge, a new track to play on. It was an awesome experience. And then, Luca, he got the tail end of that, the final chance, and he went on some new items, some beautiful items, the playing cards, the gold Mark II, or gold whatever, B Dasher, the black Mark II.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, these were some beautiful new items with the completely new potential in the game. And then I just missed the mark. I got unlucky that the holiday I went for, Halloween, is after when they cut off content. So I don't have any new items to go in on. I do have items like the spooky sprinkles and the boo pipes, which are from the spring or the summer. I was hoping they'd get value. I'll go into that later. But I didn't have any new items that
do you want to talk about the spooky sprinkles? Because what a letdown. That was supposed to be like the ultimate Halloween item.
I can actually one up that. This is even worse than the spooky. So the spooky sprinkles, it came out very late into my savings. That was when I was taking it very seriously. So I'm like, I cannot invest into this. I did purchase it 3 times in case. I didn't want to waste any tickets. But the boo pipes, I did break my fast of saving tickets on the boo pipes. I maxed it out. I'm all about King Boo. I love the ghost items. And oh my gosh, it was going into the Halloween tour, not seeing any tracks except the battle courses, which I already saw. It got 2 buffs, both non-ranked. It wasn't even ranked in the Halloween tour. Make that make sense. And the worst part for me, at least, they were both overlap with already maxed cards. So a complete big fat donut. I was so disappointed.
Kart Tour.
Exactly. Just when you think something's
my first time playing Mario Kart Tour.
Oh my gosh. You'd think it could not get any more predictable with the boo pipes being like awesome during Halloween. And same with Spooky Sprinkles. Again, not in ranked. They got 3 buffs, completely irrelevant. It's like, what's going on? Whatever. So my tour arrives. It's a letdown. It's a Halloween Peach badge. I'm not a huge fan of Halloween Peach. I think out of all the Halloween drivers, I think she's the laziest one. Lazy. But whatever.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she has a little hat on, and like that's it. Like at least Rosalina's fully dressed up. Vampire Waluigi. Oh, I would have loved a badge of that. And then Pumpkin Mario's all right. I like his pumpkin. That's cute, I guess. His little things. But I was hoping for a King Boo badge, and we didn't get that. But we also got an exact repeat. And all these like things like went against me in that aspect. But I went for it. And my tour arrives, and let me get into like the little upgrades, and I'll go over how the process went. I'll kind of keep the pace fast because I've been talking for a little bit already. But with investments, so shout out to a turtle dude. He has an awesome tool called the Ticket Optimizer, and when you have that many tickets, it can be very overwhelming to know what to invest into. So a tool like that is a godsend if you want to know, okay, what do I need to put my tickets into? And I threw my tickets into that, and it outputted the weirdest items. I'm like, but my estimate was high. It was I think it was like almost 3 million. And then if I went over 100%, it would be over 3 million. But it was like items I did not want to invest. It was like Birdo me, Daisy me, like the watermelon car. These are items I'm like, they're not Halloween. They don't, no excitement, whatever. So I'm filtering and filtering out. Eventually I get to a point where I have some items I like, but my estimate's all the way down at 2.875, which is not even close to 3 million. I think it's also under the estimate for the tour. So I'm like, I'm ready to go, but I have an uphill battle because I need to not only hit 100%, but I need to surpass it by a fair amount if I want to get into the top 10. And that's kind of, what happened. I took on the tour. I hit it very early. I think day one, I was already grinding tracks. I made my upgrades. And I was in, a bunch of my friends in voice call with Avi, with Kareem, with Luca, with Robert, Wukmu, a bunch of my good friends. We were all going over this. And what's funny is that, so I had my iPad. It was screen recording to the camera because I wanted to save the video to my camera roll. But I also wanted to show them what I was doing. And unfortunately on iOS, you can't do both. You can't like stream to Discord and stream to your camera. Yeah. So what I did, I had my phone propped up and I put it on a little stand and then I put my iPad like, and you could just see, I don't have my iPad on me right now, but it was just like a hand like cam, if you can see like the iPad on the phone camera. That was the little budget setup I had, but it was the only way to keep them entertained.
It worked out very well. It worked out very well. It was only like a little harder whenever it was like low light, but it worked out very well. Plus you had like King Boo in the background and like it was just like, it was a production. It was like really well done.
We did our best. And it's funny, when I get a run, I'd be like moving the iPad around a little bit because I'm like trying to optimize the line. And then they probably barely see what's going on. But I get through the tour and it's kind of just a blur, every day I go in, it's not pretty just spending like all this crazy amount of time just commuting to these tracks. But I got it done and I have a lovely, oh, there you go. There it is. iPad. I have a lovely Halloween Peach badge to show for it. I will never be King Boo, but it will be like 5th place above like all the other Halloween alts. And I have a YouTube video on this where I show all my 45 best races. So I do recommend you check that out if you are interested. Not to plug anything, but
we are dropping the link to that video here in.
Oh my goodness, I did also plug you in the video, so.
Oh, I got to watch like the first like 5 minutes of it, but did not get to check out the end. So I will go back and now check that out. But kudos to you, Crazy. If you want to watch that, I highly recommend it. Definitely check out the link in the description. We will have it there, I promise you. But congratulations, Crazy. Congratulations, Bobby. So glad that you guys
thank you
were able to I do want to say like mentally, like where like how are you feeling right now? Like do you need some like mental therapy, or do you need like a pushy ball to just squeeze like
this game is the therapy, guys.
It's not a therapy when you're doing it for like over 100 hours.
I know.
Oh my, I think it was relaxing to play these like OG tracks like New York Minute and Los Angeles, just like without thinking too hard. Just like, I mean, it's funny. I went from like going like over 100% on every track in Halloween to like getting these like middling runs this tour and like not caring because I don't need to outperform myself because I got it.
So you just didn't go like full Kareem style and just like go back to back top 10s. Like I don't know how Kareem he also slid in there as a top 10. How absolutely insane is Kareem? Can we just give like an all-time like achievement award to Kareem? What an awesome job he did too.
Yeah. But also it was one of his best tours in terms of the percentage that he grinded. It was one of the highest that he's ever had.
And he placed second in the Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Again, he joined us as well, which was super cool because he was playing alongside us in the calls. And it was cool. Like
I feel like you guys probably fed each other. Like you guys were probably like like egging each other on to like keep.
Oh, absolutely. Better. And I think Tyler and Wukmu have spoken about this before about like how it helped that they had each other during that Yoshi tour to like make it more of a bearable experience. But it was really, again, Avi, you said earlier, like, I don't want to impose on your tour, but no, I appreciate you actually stepping in, and it was cool to have somebody to share runs with. And I actually finished my grind a little bit early on Sunday.
Yeah.
I did my best to tune in on that final Monday and Tuesday just to check up on what you were doing. And it was cool seeing you close in that gap, and you outperformed yourself as well.
If I remember correctly, Rashid also was in the top.
Yeah. It was.
Oh, he's in the top three. Yeah.
It wasn't an easy tour either in terms of the type of tracks, because they weren't tracks that were naturally high scoring for certain skills. And so
the tracks, like half of them sucked.
Yeah. And so if you wanted to go for it, which is why at mid tour, we're kind of like,
yeah,
well, there's
Donut Plains and Ghost. Well, maybe you guys like Ghost 5, but Donut Plains and what was the other short one?
The biggest problem is so when the tour debuted, Donut Plains 3 was new that Halloween. Okay, whatever. But they made it all 4 variants show up twice. So you had 8 Donut Plains 3 alone, which is very.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the targets on those tracks are a little bit like higher than they should be, I think. So it just made it like if I wanted to get over 100%, you really pull your hair out. But the thing about the track selection is that it was like 50% was like awesome, and then the other 50% was like terrible. Like, and Ghost Valley 1
80-20.
But because you had like Maple Treeway, Luigi's Mansion, and then like these are awesome tracks. And then you had like what is it? Donut Plains. You had the Ghost Valley 1, Ghost Valley 2.
There's another
one. 2 RT sucked.
There's another one that was there.
Rosalina, was that the tour with Rosalinas and some old school track? There was one tour recently with a bunch of old tracks.
Maybe that was the ice one, whatever.
It also depends. It also depends on the kind of loadouts. For example, I had Larry for Blue Lake Normal, and you had King Boo for Blue Lake Normal.
I got Misu.
Larry Me wrecked.
Yeah.
I hit my top run on the second run.
Like
second run, those, like 50,000.
I had those where the Larry Me Blue Lakes were kind of like done. They're done. While I was like watching Crazy trying to hit that estimate for hours. And I was like, I can't, like, this is such drastic experiences of what we're doing right now. And then he would go into Luigi's Mansion and get a triple coin frenzy like that with extra actions and whatever. And I'm like, not being able to finish a freaking race in first with Luigi Vacation. What is happening?
The skills do play a part. Although I'm going to specify. So it was on Blue Lake. It was not just regular King Boo. It was the Misu. So it was Lucky 7. You had those supercharged base points. But the issue is that track sucks with Lucky 7 so bad. The walls in Blue Lake, they correct your drift when you like try to stall. It means you guaranteed lose combo. It's so bad. And the target beat was like 190. Like I was getting triple Lucky 7 Frenzy, 2 singles, and it was like 175 in like second place. And I'm like, how do I even get to 190? It's like mind blowing. With Larry though, you can get easy like boom boxes, coins everywhere. So
there were coin boxes on the track.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would say mentally, since you asked before, I wouldn't say. And I already knew that it was going to happen at some point. That stress doesn't get to you. And I think everyone has talked about their own just freakouts in the middle of it in one way or another. Whether, it happens on your own or it happens on stream or whatever. I gotta say, at some point, there was like one day where it's like I ended up on a streaming match with Shadow, and this happens a lot. We're the best friends ever, but it was like, I just need you to be here. Like, I need you to be here. I need you to be playing music for me. I need you to keep me away. And bless him, he then remembered his promise.
You tell him to shut up. You tell him to shut up.
I did not. I don't mind when people are talking. I actually it keeps me awake.
Like, why did you
but
curse me with the Zoom room?
Yeah.
but why?
Zoom
was
room,
also-
bro.
It was also that like
You
we
ever
were
watching
getting
the rundown?
we were getting into each other's nerves, into like, oh, like, why do you have this? And he's like, well, it was good for my account. I'm like, why? Like, so like it was like kind of that thing. But bless him, he totally came through for the rest of the tour after a little heart to heart
Yeah,
that I
Shot is
appreciate
awesome.
because it just made our friendship so much more better. And it's just, it's taxing because I was exhausted. I like Tuesday afternoon for me, it was just like I was literally getting one of the battle curses, one of them,
Oh my god.
any of them, to be well fought,
Of course.
to pass replete
Those are
light.
my breaking point. The Twilight
Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah, the battle tracks, man. Oh, that's
Yeah,
so-
but it
worst
was
part-
like legit just getting one of them to be well fought would have allowed me to pass replete light and be 7. Not that it made any kind of difference, but
No, I
it was
love
like,
driving in circles for hours.
that kind of thing. And at some point, I think it was like 45 to ending of the tour, where I could have maybe thought, well, I just got cab tickets, I could go and put those cab tickets somewhere and maybe get like something. I could have thought of something in hindsight. And I'm like, you know what? Let's call it, guys. I don't want to spend up to the last minute doing something that is just really not going to be of much productivity. And like chilled and had dinner and was like, okay. And up to the last minute, I thought it was gonna be me because I was the last one grinding. But the actual fight then became between Karim and Rashid, because Rashid really wanted to get to that second place while Karim was still on stream with us and keeping us awake with riddles and math calculations and all the stuff. Gold pass.
Oh, there you go.
We got a gold pipe.
It
And
is just like where, yeah.
Those are just rubies.
and it was like inches from each other. They were like legit like 1,000 points from each other.
And then you had
until the
Danny,
very
who was
last
like
minute.
a whole like mile ahead of everybody else.
Like,
with 3.15.
we were like,
Where did that come from?
yeah, like at this point, I feel like all of us have made up with the idea that it's going to be like, so who's gonna get number 2 this tour? There's no conversation about who's gonna get number 1 until we probably get to Ninja Tour, I would say, where
Ninja Tour.
Portia, who has proven himself to be an incredible grinder.
Ninja
Incredible
was my first
frenzy
ACR.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I'm not going for Ninja Tour. I already said it, even though I love that tour.
We gotta do it again.
But I'm just gonna sit back and watch, because Portia has been preparing for that tour just so thoroughly, and he can get races that are insane. So I'm just gonna sit here and watch.
Absolutely.
And
Although I will say, if he wants to get top 1 during Ninja Tour, I've heard Danny is going for top 1 that tour again. So
yeah,
you'll have to get through the final
that's
boss.
that's why I'm saying I'm just gonna sit him back and watch, because that's just gonna be slaughter everywhere. And Portia, I mean, if you've been on VC with him and know him, he's been my friend since like 2020. He can be one of the most stubborn people you'll ever meet. So he's just not gonna let go of that one. That's a bone that he wants. So
That's gonna,
Especially with that beautiful
yeah.
Ninja Shy Guy badge. I mean, he'll kill
yeah,
it.
I'm just gonna sit here and watch.
Hey, first badge.
Disney versus Porsche for the Ninja Tour. Oh man, that's pretty crazy. Well, I appreciate you guys sharing your experience. That sounds pretty epic. All just like even hearing the back and forth and like how you guys worked to your tickets, how you worked your time, how you guys worked with each other. Such a complimentary experience. I appreciate you guys sharing that. That was I think in this point in time in my Mario Kart tour career, it's like, that would have been nice to have gotten that badge, but and I certainly definitely tried. But like, it wasn't my cards, but I'm super jealous. I mean, that's quite an achievement. Like the fact that you guys got that, and then just the fact that you guys got so high too. I mean, you got like 8th, 3rd, whatever it was. Like, I mean, it's that was not easy. I mean, I could have gotten like barely a 10, just with like the 50 hours I would have put into it. But like that's like the commitment, literally everything you guys did that for those 2 weeks was like literally the best. You guys are literally the top players in the whole entire world last tour. How crazy is that? Absolutely insane. Great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank
Well
you.
earned. I'd love to get some of our other guests incorporated as well. I know Toad, you've done a phenomenal job. Just like here.
We're chilling. How many
Yes.
people, there are millions of people who play this game. Whether or not they're not all on English speaking YouTube channels. There are there's a huge player base. And so to get a top 10 or even top 1,000, like that's huge. That's huge. It's really cool. It's a lot of
Thank
work.
you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was a lot of time. Which is why I can't do it again. Even if I had the tickets, like I know that we were talking about Ninja Tour. I think the Ninja badge with the Shy Guy, he's one of my favorite characters, and I think that badge looks beautiful with the blue Shy Guy and the blue badge. I can't ever commit that much time again.
So I don't badges. We don't need no stinking badges. I don't particularly care about what the badge is. It looks good. Oh, we've got a Poochie. But my first ACR was the Ninja Tour. I had just unlocked the Gold Me, and I had enough tickets. Took him to 8 quad, and
Nice.
and I looked at it. I was just like, I can do this. I can do it. And I wrote it all. I hand wrote it out. I know people love Excel.
No, there's some people that write it out. Go for it.
I need a highlighter, and my girl, it was cute, and I probably had to put in 70, 80 hours to get that from 80 to 80%. That's easy. From 80 to that last bit, that takes a long time.
Yeah, the way I saw it is like, I felt like, in my opinion, I could get like 80 with like 40 hours. If I put in 50 hours, I could get to like probably 80, probably 85. And then if I put in like 60 hours, I could get to like 90. And then just like that point of diminishing return, like I would have to put in like exponential time just to move it up just like 1%, 2%, 3%. So
Absolutely.
I never even thought about it until it kind of became a possibility. And I would say to people who are playing the game, like you can still get there. And like what it gives me hope I could still save tickets and maybe do a top 100 or like at this point in the game. And people who are just starting, like you can do it.
it's gonna
Absolutely.
get it's gonna get tougher and probably easier. I think that like for top 10, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be like the best of the best, and they're just gonna keep going at it. The top 100 might actually loosen up a tad. There'll also be other players that have been just accumulating counts just passively, and then you know what, now let's go for it. But probably much like yourself too. So I can see that happening as well. Yeah, I want to hear from you, Toad, just like put the spotlight on you. Where are you at in your point in Mario Kart Tour? Like, what's your next achievement? It sounds like you're loving the game no matter where it is.
So I am just got to 98. I am and wanting to get that 99, finally get to 99, and I've got 2 people at 10, 15,000 ahead of me, maybe clinging to third. Do I make these investments?
That's the scariest.
I want to go into Yellow Me, who's at 4-2, and what's it, Kamek and the Aurora Rosalina, the two coin boxers who have been at 6-2 since I got them. They're not going anywhere, and Yellow Me's sitting there like, but I don't even know if it's worth the investment this round. So that's fun. I would like I'd love to try and make it this tour. And I've been doing a free to play account just kind of for fun. It's been on like a broken. That I encourage people, if you're bored with the game, if you're like blah blah blah, man, challenge yourself. I've had the free to play account that I forget about. It's on a broken screen that works half the time. I get 5 minutes on the phone battery, or on my girlfriend's iPad, which is laggy, and you know, PD is like this half the screen. It's fun, and I still beat people. But that's just a challenge. And the investments are so much harder. Like, this is an investment strategy game. It's a racing game.
I know, right?
This is. I think I was on Reddit looking at Wall Street Bets stuff too, and was like, oh yeah, Mario Kart. I should like learn how to drift and blah blah blah. And oh, this is investing too. In a different way and much safer.
I mean, honestly, that's how my whole channel has been involved in, is just like around the investments and hopefully like just educate, like whether it was promoting hitbox size, you know, a year and a half ago before people really were, or like, you know, really diving into some of the meta stuff that was going on. And honestly, when you know, we've seen some transitions too, you know, in my channel, between like, you know, Tabor leaving, she's probably 2.5 years ago. No, it's probably 2 years ago. Maybe 2 years and like maybe 1 or 2 months. And he dipped out, and Antelope jumped in, and honestly, Antelope's done a phenomenal job. In the same way, you know, Alberto jumped in when, you know, we had an opening, and he's done a phenomenal job. In fact, you know, we put him to the test, and this past tour, he was able to put out the rundown on the Wednesday that the tour was released. So it just kind of shows you like this community is resilient. There's so many great people in this community. And so, you know, I think from that perspective, you know, I'd love to just hear from Alberto a little bit about, you know, how the last year has been. I know that like you can enjoy something, but like to spend there were some tours I think you probably spent, you know, somewhere 10 to 12 hours putting together the slides for the rundown. What's that side of it like? I did it for a little bit, but then there got to the point where we had like 500 buffs in a tour, and I mean that I wouldn't wish that upon my own enemy, let alone like my good friend Alberto. So what's been the last year like? What has been behind the scenes of running the rundown been like?
Well, at the very beginning, it was stressful, really, because I was starting and I didn't know how to put things together, like the buffs or the track lists. Those were difficult, so those were the ones that took me a great amount of time. And as time progressed, it was easier, and I experimented with different things, and that gave me good results. So that's why that helped me. But still, in the end, the buffs and the track list were the ones that took me a lot of time, because the track list I had to take screenshots of every part of the tracks of every item, so and then put them them together in one image, and then paste it in the slides. So that was stressful because it was a lot of time, and but I enjoyed it in the end. It was part of the game, and another dynamic, let's call it. And Yeah, but these last tours were more relaxed, and I knew um, how to do different things, and so I learned during this year how to um, the amount of time.
Definitely takes some pacing yourself. You probably had to take a couple breaks there. Yeah, I did it for a while, and it was much easier back then. I remember even the first episode of the rundown, which was actually a crazy thing about it, because it was actually, I think, 3 years to this month. Was like the LA tour like 3 years ago, and I just did it like that Wednesday morning, just took screenshots of like what was getting buffed, what was happening, and I did it, and I did all that on that Wednesday morning, and it was only like I don't know, 50 buffs or something like that, and so I could do it, and then people really liked it, and the rest is history. I will say, it's kind of yeah, not a serious moment, but this, thinking back about the last 2 years and a couple months of having memberships and having this channel kind of taken to the next level, it's been an absolute blast. And it's kind of sad to hear that we've now had this anniversary, this loop mode, and I think we've been enjoying it as much as we can. I absolutely love the fact that this community did things like what Crazy and Avi and did, like just like coming up together and to accomplishing a greater goal. And there's so many great people that are going to keep accomplishing awesome things, and that is phenomenal. I will say, for sat down with my family and just kind of planned for 2024, and it's bittersweet, but this is an official announcement that I will be winding down the Studfit channel at the end of the year. So this is episode 59 of Kart Talk. There will be an episode 60, and that will be the very last episode of Kart Talk. That will include Antilev and Sammy and myself. We've already committed for it. It'll be into about 2 weeks or so. But you know what? The Kart Talk podcast started with Tabor and Sammy and I, and I think it'd just be nice to end with Antilev and Sammy and I, and then we'll finish out the rundown until the end of the year. So don't worry, we'll get a couple more tours in. But I think the very last piece of content that I'd like to do would be the award ceremony. So around Thanksgiving, we'll release the survey for you guys, and we'll get you guys to submit the top items for the year. But I think at this point in time, just like it's been an awesome run. And there will still be awesome opportunities to be in the community. Sammy does a great job. There's so many people that are doing a phenomenal job, and the game's still gonna be around for a while. I'll still play the game. I'll still be involved in other communities. I also want to relieve people. I think at this point in time, there's been just pressure. My family, there's been pressure on Alberto. There's been pressure on like coordinating with the Amsterdam time schedule to get Antilev on there. There's been pressure for the Super Studs to try to join on all the Kart Talk episodes, and even my good friend Brian Voice joining us from all the things that Israel's going through right now. He just would join us on all the tour reveals. So it's bittersweet. I think for my family, it's like all sweet. I think my sons and my wife are very, very pleased with this decision. For me, it's more bitter than probably sweet, just because it's been just such an awesome run. And it'll be one of those most monumental things. Like when I look back at my life, like I know, Connor, you mentioned this, like if I would have known that I was playing a video game, let alone like talking about a video game, like doing like videos about a video game, it's pretty surreal to think about how things have like escalated in my life with this game. But I wouldn't change it for the world.
But it's such a solace with everything else going in, blah blah blah. This game, it's here. It's like the community. It's chill. Whether or not people are freaking out about this or that happening in the game, it's a video game. And at the end of the day, whether you're a whale or not, you're playing the same little bit and having more or less the same experience, actually, which is great.
Yeah, and Crazy and I kind of talked about it a little bit just online, just thinking about like where the game is in the state. I think it makes it like I personally am such a I'm the kind of person who like hates quitting anything. So I'm just gonna keep doing it until like literally the game is ripped out of my hands. And I feel like this loop mode was kind of like the game kind of being ripped out of my hands a little bit.
Yeah.
This is like I have to bow out now, or else I'm just gonna keep like grinding till like I'm literally going down with the ship. And so for me, this is a good way to
That's good.
And the thing is, like, I'm not the kind of person who just likes to just all of a sudden be gone and no one gets to see from me. So I like this. That you have me here for the next I don't know, 6 weeks or so. We'll get to hang out and kind of enjoy this last ride. We'll enjoy the awards ceremony together. It'll be fun. But also, like, there's been so many people that are supporting me like financially too, to keep this channel going. Those people have the extra, $5, $20, whatever it is per month, to back in their bank accounts to do whatever they want with it too. So I think there's some relief to it. It's kind of surreal to me. It probably won't even like actually, hit me to like what it means and like what this community's meant to me over the last 2 years. But I mean, I do think that like the friendships, and I'm so glad I've probably met I think 12 people or so in person. People like Firestorm and Edidle and Jeeves and Sammy, and like these are some awesome people that sorry, there's like another 6 people I left off there. But I mean, the main point is like I do consider you guys my friends. I consider you. And I'd hope that we can interact on, whether it's Sammy's server or other servers, into the future. But at this point in time, like I'm just, I need to kind of put my young family in first place. So no offense to anybody else, but it's been a good run. It's been absolute pleasure. But yeah, and Roberto, you get some time back. So I don't know how you feel about it. I know you recently had been an employee of the Studfit channel. You decided to volunteer, which I really appreciate. But like I'd love for you to take some of the pressure off of me. What has this community meant for you? And I guess what are you gonna do with an extra 10 hours on your schedule every 2 weeks?
I think I will start with sorry. With my own plans. I would like to start. I like languages and stuff, so I would like to focus more on that. And yeah, I think and maybe start something also career related, and maybe some how's it called? Master or something like that, maybe. I don't know. And community for me is more like a union, like you are missing something. Sorry, emotional. You're missing that something, and that person or other
You're okay.
other people help you, and sorry,
I will say just Alberto. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, man. But Alberto, you mean a lot to me, man. I really appreciate your help. Everything you've done. Like I said, this channel has been it's been like, again, a surprise, but there are some people that like actually like put in the work behind the scenes. Yourself, Larry, Antilev, DKR, these guys like have done a phenomenal job, and just like tour after tour. Raker, there's been others that like that.
God bless the fucking nerds. Oh my god.
We love the nerds. Power to the nerds.
Yeah.
People who make, like who give us this data, all sorts of data, like who, me, I can't look at a spreadsheet. but I really appreciate being able to tune in and yeah, knowing what is going on in the game and I will say everyone has such a different. What's so cool about this game is everyone's account is complete. Can you think? Has anyone done a calculation of how many trillions of different combinations of accounts there are? I mean, with the sub levels, can you even think? Can you even think
Yeah.
about how many
There's no way.
different?
It's unlimited. It's unlimited. You
That
can
number is like yeah, it explodes the computer. You're like, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. So I told Crazy before this episode started. I said, hey, you know what? The game is in a different place. We got this loop mode. You know, we have my channel, which I've just announced, kind of, gradually phasing out. But I want to focus on the positive. I want to focus on like, all the awesome things that happened, the things that can happen. And I appreciate hearing from you guys on your top 10 run. But I just want to like hear from you guys is kind of like we're like winding down this episode. Like, what are some of your favorite moments of Mario Kart Tour? And like, I mean, I think from that perspective, there's so many great moments, and like there's always like the one moment you'll think about. But I think like there's also going to be a general moment of how the community impacted you. And I think just as I look back, it's gonna, honestly, I think some of the first things that are gonna stand out to me are the Kart Talk episodes. I mean, I know these actually probably when I look at like the general analytics on like who's watching what, the rundown just consistently always had like somewhere in like the 3,000 views every single rundown episode, basically for like the last 2 years. It's slightly dipped down, probably in the like the 2,500 or so. Kart Talk, like probably for the first like year, it was probably about maybe 1,000, maybe 1,200, and now it's kind of dipped down to like 700 or 800. And you know what? I still like the 700 or 800 people that watched every single time. Some of them I know would just like listen to it on their commute in from work. Like I honestly feel like the biggest fans of the Mario Kart Tour are the Kart Talk listeners. Like you guys are like the most religious of the religious of the Mario Kart Tour fans. So there's some like award I could give out to the 700 or 800 people that would have listened to every single episode of Kart Talk. Like those are the people I would want to just award and applaud and just thank for their time. Those are people that that like bring joy to what I did and the achievements and the fun that we had together, because I enjoy doing these. These are fun for me, but the fact that like other people get to hear about Mario Kart Tour and like hear about little tips and little strats, I mean, that passion is going to be unparalleled if and when this game ever goes away. So I look forward to playing this game longer. But curious about you guys, what are some of your favorite community moments over the last 4+ years of the game?
I
think
yeah, go ahead.
I think you
guys are going to just say each other anyway. So what does it matter?
I mean, it's exactly what you said. Like community is really what makes this game what it is, other than them adding new things or whatever. For me, it was always about what people can do with the game, regardless if it's a new track or an old track or but as of the last, I would say 6 to 8 months, for me, it's been all about hanging out with people on VC and seeing and helping other people achieve what they want in terms of, improving their account, understanding how to use the tools that so many people have developed for improving your game. But also it's the little things that happen in between. It's the camaraderie between everyone. It's seeing their races and what can be achieved in the game with their own talents. It's ridiculous things like Chris's dinner during top 10. It's
my dinner.
It's I should clarify that was a piece of high-end cuisine that he performed.
Don't tell me you have a picture of that.
I don't have a picture.
Good.
I won't.
Good. That should not
I won't burn
you
that way, but the description will suffice. It was a hot dog bun with ham.
So it was one of those nights where I was just like, I needed food because I hadn't eaten in a few hours, but I did not have the time nor like energy to like get something. So I went to the fridge and I got a hot dog bun, and then we didn't have hot dogs, so I got some like sliced like ham, and then I melted some cheese in the microwave, and then I put some. It needed some flavor, so I got this like habanero sauce from the fridge, but it was like yellow looking, so I looked like I put a bunch of mustard on it.
Sucking on the chili dog, outside
Dude,
the
it was like
taste
the
of
Honestly,
freeze.
honestly, everyone burned him about it, but I'm pretty sure that tasted like heaven, being
it was okay.
so tired and
As long as it's
hungry.
got protein in it. That's pro. You
It,
got some ham
It,
protein.
it
That's
had
that was the goal.
spice, protein, carbs, all the food groups.
Complete
Not bad,
complete meal right
Yeah.
Oh,
there.
Mario Kart
Yeah, it's a
fuel.
rounded meal. Oh,
We
we're
might
talking
have an
about.
official Mario Kart sandwich.
That has not been
Um,
recreated, but I did.
But
I had my funny little phone iPad set up like where I was like streaming, and I kind of like tilted a little bit to show them like the food I was eating. I'm like, guys, this is what I'm
and,
working
and
with.
and everyone lost it in the middle of the chat. Everyone lost it. It was just
It was like
that
11
that
or 12 days into the tour as well. It was like
yeah
late into the grind. Stuff
yeah
was getting tense. Oh
yeah.
dear.
Like everyone was like dying laughing. It was one of those moments that you're bonding in a way that not other people would get it unless you're there for hours on end.
I know
Um,
Luca and Shadow wish they could have had a bite.
They
yeah,
probably
yeah, I'm pretty sure. But it's that thing. I think regardless of us achieving our goals or not, which obviously is going to be the thing, and I do plan to play the game until it leaves my phone. But I do concur with you that yeah, it gets to a point where okay, you have to start weaning basically yourself down from this routine. Because yeah, one, life moves on. Two, you have to prioritize on your life. And find excitement in spending your spare time in other things and finding new hobbies and whatnot. For me, regardless of how much I like the game and the game being an operative part of how much time I spend on it, it's more about me having been in this situation before and how I actually totally get what you're saying about stepping off from being the leader of a community. Is that you find yourself in a moment where, oh, my planning for a day-to-day that I have done for the last 2 years, 3 years, or whatever, now it's gone. It's not there. And when you're not there yet, but the day that happens, it's going to be the weirdest day
What
ever.
do they do without me?
Like it's part of that. Oh, I need to go take care. I have to worry about this and I have to worry about that. No, you don't have to worry about that again. And you're gonna feel guilty because then you're not doing it, but at the same time you're like, oh, I don't have to do it. And it's credit on your life. It's basically, it's gonna take some time to understand that. I did it for 10 years that I was leader of a organization and community, and I voluntarily stepped off before it was done to give a year to the next person that was going to take over. And it's been 3 years, and even today I'm kind of like, oh, I should be concerned about that, but I don't have to. And it's learning about yourself in a way that it's going to be brand new and it's going to be great. I gotta say, before I pass it on to Crazy and the rest, I'm very thankful for everything that you've done in the last few years for us. I gotta say, I'm not the most Kart Talk listening person, but I am a super faithful rundown person. Like I would not miss one. It was like one of the things like, is it out yet? I need to know what's going on with everything.
I actually
pitchforks on like the afternoon. Say like, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, where is it? I need it. I need it now. I need to know what's happening.
Toad, you jump in?
I actually thought this was Car Talk on NPR. I have this issue where my camo Tanuki truck is making this sound like.
Oh.
And I was hoping you could.
That was so. By the way, the Kart Talk name Kart Talk actually came from Sammy. He was like, "You should do Kart Talk as the name of the podcast." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Oh, there's a show called Car Talk." I was like,
I hope people.
I don't
really.
know
I'm like a deep NPR. Person.
But it's also to the credit of the community you built, even if it was the server or it was the people in the comments, is that it provided education and it provided a lot of tools and exposure to other creators, to other tool developers, including ourselves, because like we ended up in that bag at the last minute. Where it wouldn't have happened if you weren't around, because like there are other streamers that they briefly talk about what the community has in terms of other than the game and other than the server, but not to the depth that you did, and I commend you for that. I am very thankful. I feel like everyone else is as well, and so
I appreciate that.
You've earned your cookies throughout the years, so like thanks.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that, and I'm very humbled, and I think that the goal was for tonight not to be this like praise me, tell me how great but it's my channel's been. But I do think that two things, one, this channel probably would have ended a year ago if it wasn't for Alberto. So I do want to like take the shine that was coming and give it to Alberto to keep this going. But then also two, if I had someone helping me out with the curation of the content like Alberto did, I was ready to go as long as this game was going to keep getting interesting with new items coming out, new buffs, new meta. But like
a year of buffs.
Once the anniversary
not
hit,
quite.
like no more items, like loop mode. And I just remember sitting there, and the video is still like, I still watched it just kind of, I don't know, just feel like what I was feeling that morning, because it was very raw. And I was just like, the chase is over. Like the chase of like catching up with the new item, like that is behind us now. And like I knew that it was going to probably impact my channel more than any other channel, just because that's all I focus on is just like strategy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll tell my friend, like there are a few friends I've told to have like this channel, and they're like, oh, so you probably play all the time. Like, actually, I don't really play on the channel at all. Like I just talk about like strategies, and they're like, you're weird, dude. Like that's like most people are playing the game that they really like to play. But again, it just kind of just shows like, I think the change probably hit my channel a little harder than anyone else's. Probably Carlos could probably stream till he's blue in the face, boils over, whatever. But because like it's different. It's just like it doesn't matter what's happening in the meta to a channel like that. So and I hope he does. I hope everyone else. But for me, hit me a little harder. So thank you, Alberto. That was my main point, was to like to ricochet and kind of like shine the light on you, man. But no, I mean, if I think reached out to Larry. Not sure if he responded at all, but like maybe people want to use Larry 98's cheats, and he just if he wants to keep doing it, then people can find the information there. Hopefully you guys can still keep up with everything that's going on. But it'll be a fun next 6 weeks or so. But it'll be good. I do want to ask just kind of everyone else, like what is your plan over the loop mode? Are you getting excited about like items like Gold Mario, or the full Royal Flush glider, or like as you're getting through loop mode, are there different ways that you're treating things? Are there different ways they're going through things? And Toad, you've been very patient, so I'll let you start out for us.
As a gold pass only person my whole time, and that was off and on, and with a few packs for ACR stuff, I'm just catching up. There was not full coverage until really recently. It was always playing catch up and always like trying to get, there's always something. So it's like finally a chance to like develop things that you care about. And that's fun.
Let me ask that.
And also not care whether or not like
right. So now you can invest in things that are like the Streetles.
It's the heart meta, world peace era. Shout out Ron Artest.
Yeah. So what's the top of your list, Ronnie?
Look at that dolphin card. There's some big. There's the what's the spade, the Ace of Spades glider, the
Royal Flush.
There's some come ups. Things are getting buffs for a while, and like I wish I could go into Gold Mario. I think that's a good. My friend, what I've been really keen on recently is like getting a few people into it who are brand new, and their experience just being like and there's so much, and trying to even explain the game on a basic level is still hard, much less what we're talking about. But even just, how the scoring works, it's crazy. It took me months to get it.
I still don't know fully how the scoring works. If that
nobody knows.
No, you need Karim in here to actually understand it, and then he'll go beautiful mine on it. And
I would love to like get down on like a okay, say a level 6 yellow me, even at triple calf, which for me is like 1800, versus a coin box driver level 6-2, and you might say like because of base points, blah blah blah, but like coin box is coin box, and if you pick up like all the like I don't know, man, like there's a really good
tokens.
Yeah.
There's something about coin box frenzies that are gonna get like that many more action. I don't know. So there's weird maths, and I think whatever, the game to me is about investing in what you like. If you like the thing,
like Streetles,
Rainbow Streetles,
and Zoom Brooms,
and speeders,
Agna.
I had some people played the game or had had expectations about courses and drivers, and like I had none. I didn't play any video game past GoldenEye.
Oh, GoldenEye was great.
Great game, yeah. But it made me. I get motion sick, and I don't want to shoot people.
Right.
Yeah. So after 20 years, I didn't play a video game, and this thing, I find it's calming. It's chill. It's fun, and it's free to play with, no ads. So people pick it up.
No ads.
No ads.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nintendo.
You know what?
No ads.
No ads. You can complain about pay to win, but no ads.
No ads. Yeah. That's actually a good point. It's been
that is often overlooked, but I've thought about this before.
Every other game.
They all have it, and it's actually kind of really nice that and a lot of us, we can get by completely fine just paying $5 a month, and the fact that there's no ads, there's no nothing. It's just
I can not buy a coffee.
You can play the game free to play and get
Yeah.
be completely successful, and you never have to see an ad in your life. Besides that, little pop up for commemorative, which doesn't even count. So, I mean, hats off to Nintendo for even investing into this game for this long. Just
Yeah.
2 weeks in, 2 weeks in, 4 years, all this new content. It's a celebration of Mario Kart what we have on our hands.
It really is, and it's. I think the code, and if I can get on a pedestal, like I think the coding of this game is spectacular. Like I think how we can talk about random numbered, like what the items that you get or what you or deserve to get. Like I think the game makes you progress. It's a Mario game. You have to fail. You have to you get blue shelled in life. Like it's like that is life. Is you're doing so good and you get blue shelled like 90 times out of out of 100. Or that's life. And they keep and the game actually reward that. It's an amazing. It actually does. Like the bots break down. It actually recognizes how you're doing, and I think like I've seen it. I played it 100 million times now, and like I might throw you your best run on the first one just to throw you off, but then it makes you play 20 times to get better and like be like.
That's a good analogy.
It does. I don't know. It makes you. It's a Mario game. You got to work it. Like, and
I feel like it's like one of those memes where it's like the perfect game doesn't exist. And this is because I mean, again, I'm like you, Tober. Like I did not play video games for a decade. And then this game just like came along and just for whatever reason, it just captivated me. And so I'm with you, man. Like
something.
Like I think that if someone were to like look at a game and say like how would you have built it out perfect? Like who built the perfect game? I would say, the pay to win aspect, or like, you don't have to get stuff, but like me as a whale, I got a lot of the stuff, and I spent a lot of money. And like, I think that there's like that negative connotation. So like if there's a way to come out with a game, or maybe it's like $10 a month or some other way to like, make money so that there aren't ads, but then there also isn't like a lot like the rides on, buying stuff. I don't think there's anything I could complain about Mario Kart 2. I think the one thing is that it's on the mobile device, and for me that was perfect. For me, like that's why
I think that's the best.
I think it's the best, but I think that also like narrows who plays the game or something like that. I don't know. To me, like that, if there was a way that on the console and just say you guys are forced to like have to adapt to playing these combos and frenzies. But then, on the console, maybe there like more kids would have played or something like that. And maybe
more people have phones.
I'm with you.
So that's why I'm curious why like it is. I think it is very popular, but not for the pay. I don't know.
I don't know why it never reached like where it deserved to be.
Well, part of it is maybe multiplayer not working, and part of it was I think people getting turned off by the pay to win or like the pipe.
No, I know why the game never reached its potential. Like Pokemon Go, they completely butchered the launch, and when you have 100 million people downloading the game in the first week, you need to leave the best impression you could get. And selling Diddy Kong for $40 and having no Luigi in the game and no multiplayer and fake bots, and like that's not how you leave a first impression. And the thing is, the game has evolved so much since then. It's the only game I play now, anyways, and just because I think there's nothing else holds my attention like it does. There's so much strategy, so much depth, but nobody could see that in the first day or week or month, like how much depth was in the account and all that. And what they did see is they saw a game that's like slower than they thought. They saw these microtransactions, this loot box, no multiplayer, and they saw a game that's like this is terrible. So they deleted it. And the people that stuck with it, those are the people that got to really enjoy what the game had to offer. But that's why it never really reached.
There was no effort. There was no effort to abate what that thing had created, and to highlight the other aspects of the game from either a PR or an advertising effort. So
it's like this whole like this like potential, this like RPG aspect of the game that like almost nobody knows about, just because they see it as this like, oh, I pick up my phone, I like mess around and like I get first without even trying. And then I've seen all these like old reviews about like, oh, I got first place and I set my phone down. And I think that's why Nintendo making the bots so hard now, is because they saw all that scrutiny of people complaining. So now if you set your phone down, you're always gonna get eighth. But I'm sure that's you can thank the reviewers back then who complained for the hard. Now that's why we have hard bots. But first impressions are so important, you know, even outside the scope of the game.
The
with people you meet.
But it's also a difference between how you promote a game that is offline, which is a console game, technically offline, and then how you promote a game that is online. Because if you're on mobile, it's mostly you are on the internet all the time, you're on Discord, it's a different kind of audience that you're tackling. So you cannot just like switch off and not understand that community. A person that plays Mario Kart at home, they don't have to do any kind of interaction with anything. So you just have to tailor that and make that work well. For this, you actually have to make an effort, and they did not get that at all. They did not understand communities. They don't understand that a mobile game, it's pretty much like console games that actually are online communities. So, you know, if you're not prepared for that, it's not gonna come back from that kind of damage.
So like one thing that's you mentioned, Crazy, is like how Pokemon Go obviously had like this crazy ridiculous like first 2 or 3 weeks where like everyone was talking about it, everyone was downloading the game, you know, and there was like quite a dip. There were a lot of people that kind of quit the game after the first month or two, but then you did have like this loyal fan base, and I feel like we did have a pretty loyal fan base, and then the Ice Mario situation went down. Do you think, though, if that had not happened, that we would have still had the same loyal base? Do you think we would have?
What is the Ice Mario situation? I missed that.
Oh, actually, I can get into. I actually discussed this very topic on my YouTube video. That tour was the reason I left the game. I deleted my first account. I was playing since day one. January after the New Year, they completely screwed people over. They had Ice Mario, who was the only. You know how now we have like 20 things on top shelf. Mm-hmm. They put that tour. They had SNES Vanilla like 1R. I'll never forget. And they had just Ice Mario on top shelf, and he was exclusive to a $40 banner. It was ranked. And then this is right after the New Year's, like after all these like free rubies and whatever. And then it was a combination of like so much like just like bad. The game was like bombed with like 1-star reviews, and I quit the game for the majority of 2020. I actually came back because they released Old King Boo and Maple Treeway that Halloween. That won me over because I thought those were like the best. But I left the game and I deleted my original account just because I thought what was going on then was just complete BS. So
I missed it because I left the game in November 2019 and came back in March 2020. So I literally just like skip.
You got out while it was. That's good at least.
Yeah, so I mean, I started after that all happened. So I didn't even know that was like a thing. And nor did I know that like I was supposed to be upset about. I probably wouldn't have bought the banner. I was like, cool, let's go. That was
Ice Mario.
I think I actually did buy it, and then I went to like down to like 10 out of 100, and there's like still like Peach and some other thing in the pipe. I just got so fed up with the game. I'm like, this is just terrible. What's going on? I was terrible pipe.
Expectations lead to disappointment.
That disappointment dipped so low for me. I'm like, I'm done.
I had never.
Yeah, Alberto, you were jump in.
I was just gonna say that I remember that Ice Mario situation because I was also thinking about buying the banner, but then I pulled him in a pipe with Beach Winter Time. So I said, well, I don't have to buy it.
You got that like 0.00146 percentage or whatever.
This still.
Oh my gosh.
What the hell? There's a gold pipe!
Dixie Kong.
Ice Mario. Ice. Oh,
Ice Mario.
Uh-uh,
Oh, it would
Radish-
be great if it
Radish
was Ice
Rider.
Mario, dude.
That would have been so funny.
It was the classic
I
cart
gotta-
though. You got though.
That's
But yeah, if
fucking-
it was Ice Mario,
That was
Perfect.
2019
So
Kart.
ironic.
That's
like
that
you
is nice.
like Nintendo is watching, but that's still.
They are. Thank you.
You know, there's something about pulling the pipes, man. There's also the other part about pulling pipes. Like once that went away, I think there's like another part of
Yeah.
the fan base that they just walked away. How do you guys feel like that's gone over the last year?
I think that would have been an awesome decision for the game's like public standpoint back in like 2020. It would have like the game, or even like early, if the game launched without pipes, it would have been completely different because
Yeah.
they know people know you have to
Yeah.
monetize. And if they saw the game had no ads, but they had a $5 cheap subscription, and then they had an item shop like the Spotlight shop,
Yeah,
I promise you the complaining would be
it would have
down
been
the-
better.
Oh, absolutely. There would be almost no
Yeah.
complaining, or there shouldn't be, because
Yeah.
anybody who was complaining would just be talking about basic monetization when it's like least intrusive as possible. I think
Yeah.
at the point they remove the pipes, it doesn't matter anymore because the people who complained already left. The people that stuck with it have just been enjoying the pipes. I mean, now that we have the loop mode, I think the only reason they removed the pipes is because the whole, to set it up better for the loop. So that means they don't have to like have a strict banner, but they can feature all these different items in and make them accessible. Honestly, that's the only reason I think they took out the pipes, is to make it loop mode compatible. But I think it was too little too late, in my opinion, because the people
Yeah.
that were still playing at that point like the pipes.
And I think
Yeah.
people are wimps, and the pipes were awesome. Like whatever, gamble it, like whatever. Like you either get it. Some of the best things I got in this game, a combo cruiser, which I don't think it never really cracked the list too much. So the combo cruiser is a gigantor cart that was just consistently always there for me.
Hey, it has
And-
Cookie Land. That's all you need. Every tour,
That thing's a beast. Like a bunch of things came out of pipes. I don't know. I enjoyed it just for like the ritual, like how I played the game, where I'd clear every level. I'd clear everything, and then you do the 2 green ones and the like. And I had my little method. I always got a first. And I pulled everyone. I never saved 450 rupees. Like,
I will say some of my best memories with
loved
the game
it.
in the past few years has been with the pipes, and I know that's like some people look down upon that, but just thinking back, like some of these gold pipes, and just like we get the whole community together and just
oh
everybody's
my
taking
god,
turns sharing their wins and losses.
we were sorry, we were on what are your favorite memories, and like that, some of those are like me pulling Meowser on both of my accounts, watching Sammy pull Kamek, or some like those. It was exciting. It was exciting.
I fully agree.
More
I think
exciting.
the game peaks off for me.
Or you fail, and that's life.
The game peaks for me, I think, in the Ninja Tour when we had that first Boomerang driver and then Gold King Babam and this beautiful new course. For me, I think that was the highest high of the game. And I look back super fondly of that. My favorite track, some of my favorite drivers. And I remember coming into that tour with a bunch of rubies after saving all that at the start of the year. Just everybody's pulling on these gold pipes and they're getting excited. It's just like, it was like a celebration of the game. And even like the anniversaries haven't scratched that 1.5 year Ninja anniversary. So I think memories like those are what keeps the game like just we can look back so fondly. And there is negatives to it. I mean, there was always that one person that like went in with 90 rubies and got nothing. But for the most part, they got them in 4 months.
And I walked into what's the casino? Someone told me a casino. And I walked into the Mirage with $100 and I lost a dick of craps.
That's life. It happens.
That's my life.
But yeah, but it always did a good job of
it's
like
entertainment.
Like they always make sure that you got it like later in another 100 pipe or whatever. Like we were all sweating over some of these stuff, and like now we get all the time in the pipes. I mean, just thinking back to some of these good memories, like thinking about some of what like different carts and stuff that we were sweating about, like things like off-roader or whatever. And like now we have them in the all clear pipe all the time. It's like
I remember the ultimate one was Bowser Santa back in 2020. If you didn't get him, you were locked out for a whole
you didn't
year.
get them. Oh,
that was a big one.
I was done. I sucked.
There were so many people that didn't get them just like the whole year, just literally 12 months of torture. And then they got them, and then they didn't use them much.
I didn't have gold dry bones early on. That was tough. Gold dry bones. The gold little. Or black Birdo. Yeah.
Okay, Black Birdo. Nobody knew what that would become though when she first came out.
Yeah,
that was just like
she was like, oh yeah, we're not pulling for her, we're not getting her, and then she just had this amazing coverage. There was some good months there between her and I think like Peach Explorer. There was like a couple like these unsuspecting drivers. Man, so many good memories of this game. Even just like even talking about the meta, just thinking about how the meta's changed, and like we weren't even
really
boxes. If you think about that Black Turbo Birdo Kart, like we weren't thinking about hitboxes back then. What was
you just saw this cart with all these tracks and we're like, let's go. I want it.
Coverage.
And it's also crazy like how levels work back then, at least for my account. Like I took it to like 4 single uncap, the Black Turbo Birdo, and that thing was like a beast. And now it's like I don't even ever take like
nothing
the because there's no point in doing that. And that cart's rotting now.
Same thing with vintage cars. Invest in the Camo Tanuki and the 1974 Cadillac Eldorado, both of which are cars I bought.
I will say that there were a couple items that just like would we'd be like wondering what all is going on with them. Like in the meta, like we didn't know what like small carts from large carts, and we were just thinking about just pure coverage. But like even as time went on, it took us a while to even figure that out. But I just remember even like take a couple months before that, there was a while. I remember watching some of the videos from Ghost Shining. He was talking about like, he would do the stall starts and he would use giant mushroom. It like literally took us a long time to get some of these strats to even think about things a certain way. But now we have it literally licked to a T, just like, this hitbox is this dimension by this dimension. Here's the DKR spreadsheet. Here's your Antilev, tracker. Here's like literally everything is penciled out for you. Like, it's amazing to see how the community has basically jerry-rigged our way to maximize this game. I will say there's some times where I do these like challenges where like you run over the dry bones or you go through the ring. What am I doing with my life? Is this a tiny kid's game that we've that we've just like taken way too seriously? Like, what is going on here?
It like sets the perspective of the game, or when it's like the time trials being like so easy, or it's like something like just basic like these challenges. And even if you just look at the Grand Stars, it's like 7K and we're getting like 50, 60K. It's just like that's puts into perspective how far we came in the game. Yeah. And just reminiscing on like 2019, 2020, when we were getting 7, 8K scores and level 3 was a huge deal, And now if it's not level 8, what are you doing, right? It needs to be like at that max tier. It's crazy.
Oh, I am still here for the well-rounded. I'm here to proselytize for the well-rounded account. Not everyone can be at 8 quad and everything goes. And there are a lot of people watching who are just coming up, who are like, what, And
absolutely. And I think, the funny thing is, I've always, even when my account was way smaller than it was or is now, I've always been a proponent of like going in, maxing out a few things rather than spreading out my coverage, just because that's how I got joined the game, to see those big numbers. And I couldn't like do that across a lot of items because I didn't have that much tickets, but I would always take my favorite things and max them out. That's how I enjoyed the game. You guys have seen my King Boo Luigi's Mansion. He's iconic at this point. And I think it was cool to have done it in a point of the game when like people weren't just throwing tickets on everything. Because now with this loot mode, people, I guess, are more open to investing in their favorite items. But back when I did it, I took King Boo up in 2021, 2022. That was bold. And people were
that was bold.
Going box or nothing. And that was before he got all these bootlegs and stuff. So Stuff like that is like another like aspect of the game where I can look back super fondly. And
Yeah, good times. Any last memories? Otherwise, we'll start to wrap it up. We'll let you get some shout outs. But any last memories you wanna put out there in the universe?
I mean, there's so many, but I'm said like the big ones, like Ninja Tour. My other big one, Samurai Tour. I think that was my first top 100, and that still. I know some other people have said it before. I think it was James who said it, but like your first top 100 is like it's harder than like your first top 10 even.
Yeah.
I think that's completely true. Like that first top 100 just was so special to me. And back then it was like early 2022. I grinded 99% on my spreadsheet, and that's not as much as like I've gone past 100 now. But for me, that was like such an intense grind, and to see myself like I got like 74 or whatever, like it still felt more special somehow than what I've accomplished today. And it's stuff like that. Like you can look at these achievements, and I mean, I can't not mention my 70K. That's still my favorite race ever, that Rainbow Road. And where is Rainbow Road, man? We never see it anymore. It's so sad.
It's coming back.
It's gonna come back in
it's coming
February
back.
one time.
Everything's coming back. That's what
I wish
isn't
they'd
that
bring back
beautiful
the
that you got to
US
kind of wait for a while with it? This game's like, oh, it's kind of brutal.
It's beautiful to wait on the cheap lagoons.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's that. What other game gives you? What I don't know. What other game changes every two? Is there any other video game that changes
No.
every 2
That's
weeks?
what makes it so special. That the fact
regardless
that,
of the new,
always evolving.
Forget the new content, and which was that was honestly too much. It was just like, and that's what I'm saying is someone, if you're not spending tons of money on the game or really like that was just there were periods where we're like, can we get some new courses? Nothing. And then they're just like, here's 25 new courses.
Here's 25 new courses, yeah.
And
I do wish
and Donkey Kong Gladiator, but you can't use them. Like everyone.
Imagine how crazy we would have gone for Donkey Kong
True.
Gladiator back in like 2021. Everybody would have lost their mind.
Dude.
And now he came at a point, and we're glad we got him, because if this game ended without a Donkey Kong alt, I think we would have never forgiven that.
There would have been riots on the streets.
Can you imagine though, TK Spartacon just being released in like 2021? Like how the
exactly,
Especially
with Boomerang,
it would have been a beast. Yeah.
It would have been a must invest, a must pull. People would have been crying about not pulling him. People would have been celebrating about pulling him. You know, he'd be the talk of the town forever.
They had all of these opportunities to make money. Like I just went, I'm like, can you let me like reverse engineer your entire everything and like make this game?
Dude, like there was a while.
Who is running the ship?
We like there's a while there where we like wanted new courses. We wanted like we would have died to get like in Athens or to get like Greece, like to get Rome, to like get any of these tracks. So we're just like spoiled to death. Now we're like just like, all right, another city tour. Yeah, but that's, I mean,
the way they spaced out the content in this game is really odd. I mean,
Yeah.
like we've gone like nothing, and then this last year just wholesale like take all our content we have left, and we can see why that is, because now they ended content, and it's better we got a bunch of it than leaving all of this scrapped. But it does make you wonder, why couldn't they made maybe a 5 or 6 year plan where they slowly space this out a bit better, and we can properly enjoy like Donkey Kong Gladiator and Poochie and all these new tracks and whatever.
I do hope, like, I'm looking forward to like Yoshi's Island again, and
absolutely,
like some of these tracks where it's like, wow, it's gonna be a while before I even see it, and it was a long time since I last saw it. So, I mean, I do think this game's still probably. I mean, to be honest with you, I still think this game will probably go another 2 or 3 years. You know, but I just, you know, it's tough that like it's tough just how like this news has impacted the community. Just like knowing there's every once in a while I'll like get done with a run. I'm like, okay, so I got, you know, this high score, but for what? You know, like there is that element to it. I think that just deters enough people. But there's I got roped into joining CWL, which is like the multiplayer league, and there's like 50 teams of, you know, I don't know, 10 people each or something like that. So like there's and that community is you know pretty I feel like it's pretty well run. You know, ER is still thriving. Like there's still like a lot of great things that are going on. I just think the casual player, just for whatever reason, they saw loop mode, and even though like it actually these tracks we're not burnt out on. We're not burnt out on many of these tracks. You know, this tour is a little different because we've seen a lot of these, but you know, like the Boot Lake, like we hadn't seen Boot Lake in a long time. Like no one was actually burnt out on Boot Lake except for those little twisty grinds, the twisty areas that they just drop combo. That was annoying. But anyway, like there are some of these tracks where it's like we're actually not burnt out. Like if you think about it, you're opening up the game, you get the game rotating every 2 weeks, get brand new tracks. You know, just, you know, get a nice little casual run on each track and just have some fun, call it a day. Just, you know, just open it up every day. Just get your daily coins, have some fun, play the game. You know, that's that I could probably play this game for 2 years doing that.
And I don't know how much longer I'm going to stick with the game. Hopefully it's some time, but we'll see. Although I will never like not get excited when Ninja Highway comes back. That's my like favorite track. And we only see it once a year. It's around my birthday in March, but it's like such a treat, you know, just to get that game or that track. And just it doesn't, I know it's an 8 Deluxe, it's in the Switch game. It does not play the same, it doesn't feel the same. It's something different, especially racing with that Ninja Shy guy and the Ninja Karts, just going through that trap room and all that. You know, that's like I will always be hyped when that track comes back. And same with 3DS Rainbow Road, and now with Yoshi's Island, and like even these Halloween tracks like Luigi's Mansion, Maple Treeway, these are like points, and even with the content stopping, these are things to look forward to, I think. And it's not permanent. Eventually, I think we're all gonna stop playing at some point. It's not gonna be permanent. Some of us will play till the servers shut down, if they ever do, who knows. But we can still set these little goals and enjoy the game while we still have it.
For sure. Well, we're here at time. So I appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you again. Thank you, and also the viewers at home, just for the support, the continued support of this channel, the continued support of the rundown and the Kart Talk and everything that we do here. Like we wouldn't have done with all you without you guys, first of all, joining me on the actual content, but then also for those viewers who supported me. You know, and many of you guys are also members too, and just like honestly, it's been just, you know, I've been tickled that people have been tuning in and people have been supporting the channel, and just such a huge blessing. So I actually will I'll let you guys each give a shout out and just you know, thank the community. Just you might have some new fans as well. We'll actually start with Toad, which I think has a special guest he wants to say goodbye to as well. You might be on mute though. Which, if you want to say, like, if you want to make him make voices or like have like a hi.
There we go. All right. Yeah, Voltron. You know, that's a good analogy for the community. Like we're all on our own little thing, but we come
combined. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, shout out to you. Thank you, Studfit, for having me on, for being part of for making this all happen, and to live, and every like the people making videos who have made this happen, Kart Life, the Frenzy fans, I love you guys so much. It's what a cute community in a time where everything is yada yada. You can come here and focus on this and play this game, and it's a solace and a wonderful, and it's a therapeutic thing. I really think it is. And so take it for what it is, and I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. It's been a blessing.
Awesome, man. Well, glad you were able to join us, Toad. Appreciate that, Alberto. I appreciate you, man. But what kind of who'd you like to shout out in the community? Who's somebody the community hasn't maybe heard from that maybe kept you going?
Well, a friend Fred, and he just joined the maybe 5 tours ago, maybe. So I hope the enjoyment is bigger, and shout out to everyone because this is done for everyone by everyone. And Fred told me once a short time ago a phrase from a author, and I will wrap up with that. All changes, even the most longed for, have their melancholy, for what we leave behind us is a part of ourselves. We must die to one life before we can enter another. This is from Anatole, France. Yeah. This is
Wow.
for this new
Very
chapter.
nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Well said, Alberto. And
Gracias, amigo.
no, that's no, thank you, Fred. Welcome to our tour. And no, I think it's well said. I mean, you can't go through another door without leaving another. Sometimes when I'm driving on this, like on a road, I'm just like, wow, I'm like on this road right now, and so is thousands of people, but like only for a second. You know, it's like we're just coming and going, and like we're, you know, I think that's kind of a way for life, is like, you know, we're all here right now, and we're all connected. And who knows what the future will hold. I would hope that I can keep in touch with you guys. But Alberto, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you again for everything you've done. My shout out goes to you. But Crazy, who would you like to shout out, and what would you like to say to your fans?
Alrighty, so quickly, just want to go over again. This game is so many memories. Hold on.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you sound much better now.
Okay. Yeah, so many memories with this game. Huge shout out to my friend Robert, actually, Robert Green. He recently lost access to his account, but he's decided that at this point in the game, that's not a pursuit worth like following at this point. But he's been a good friend of mine for a while, and I just want to shout him out. He's an awesome guy, and he's been playing for these last few years, and now he's done. So that's it.
Yeah, we like Robert. Robert's good. Reddit Robert, right?
Yeah. He's been on before.
Yeah, well, we like Robert a lot. Well, sorry that you lost your account, Robert, but we love you, guy. We love you, man. Thanks again for your support.
He never took his Dixie Kongs to level 8, unfortunately. So that's one investment we'll never get to see. But I'm sure that was next in the pipeline for him, of course.
He did it for the sounds. I think he did it for the Dixie sounds in the game.
Oh dear.
Is gonna be probably haunting me in my dreams.
The chimpanzee screeches. About that.
God bless that soundboard.
Yeah. Avi, what would you like to say to some of your fans, and who would you like to shout out?
Well, some of my fans. I don't know who my fans are, but thank you for being my fans. No, thank you, everyone that has been throughout the years and all of the servers that I hang out at.
Is there a server you're
think
hang out in, by the way? Maybe I should just ask that.
Well, I think the ones, and sorry, it's just like a matter of, you know, who hangs there and or my bandwidth. But I think the top 3 are ER, GSG, and Carlos's server, and then it'll be yours, and then it'll be Sammy's, and then like and everything. I have so many servers too because work also is on Discord.
Oh, okay.
So my list of servers is massive. But I think in the last few months, the community at GSC has been so tight knit, and it's just such a joy to talk to them every night, and just push for their success every tour. So I just want to give a shout out to all of them, especially obviously to Kareem and Shadow, who are my partners in crime most of the time. And for whom I'm so appreciative for like what they've done for me, with me, that I probably wouldn't have gotten as far as I've gotten without them and their support. So yeah, that's it.
I like
said.
it. Very well said. You know, and I hope that I'm not like my slow fizzling out of my my channel. It doesn't distract from everything that's awesome going on with this game. You know, and I like I said, I'm already telling you, I'm gonna be playing this game for another 2 years if it's still around. So I just want to make sure that like people know that people like, you know, that I'm not distracting or like, you know, carrying people with me out the door. Like that's not what this is about. Like for me, it's like you know, I like to, you know, my career is picking up. You know, my son's activities are picking up. Everything seems to be picking up. I just can't be everywhere at once. I mean, I just was thinking about this, like of all the different places I've done car talk and reaction videos and the rundown. I've done it in Charleston, South Carolina. I've done it in Nebraska. I've done it in Las Vegas. I've done New York City for car talk. I have a busy traveling, you know, schedule, and
Touring the world, man.
I've just been. That's part of why I like the game so much. But yeah, I've done whatever I possibly could to make sure that the content happened. But you know, I'm actually looking forward to like being on a trip and like not bringing in a microphone and like, you know,
Yeah.
laptops and like, you know, bag and my shirt everywhere. That's just starting to get stinky at this point. But it's been an absolute pleasure. Look forward to again a final episode of Car Talk with Sammy D and Antalev here in right after Thanksgiving. And then we'll still do the rundown to the end of the year, assuming Alberto's still on us to help us out here. And then an award ceremony. So you'll see a survey we'll release. Last year we had, I think, like 120 or so people respond to the survey. We'd love to get everyone's just some of the top items this year. I would love to get to at least 100 people before we shut down the survey. So we'll get it out early in hopes that we can record in December. So thanks again I honestly thank you to everyone who's ever watched a Car Talk, ever watched a rundown, and a special thank you to everyone who's watched every Car Talk or listened to every Car Talk, whether it's in the car or elsewhere. I mean, honestly, you guys have been the best fans ever, better than I could ever imagine. So thank you all for all your support, your love, and your kindness. And with that, till next time, may the frenzy luck be with you.
Wow.
Bye-bye.